Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the AUD podcast channel. I'm your host Khalid Abdul Jubain. We are honored to have Dr. Mahmoud Alburai as our guest on the show today. Dr. Mahmoud is a senior advisor at the Real Estate Regulatory Agency of Dubai, mandated to work on a plan to make Dubai more competitive. Before this role, he served as the senior management professional of Dubai Real Estate Institute for 10 years, in which the institute graduated 80,000 real estate professionals from the region. He has also been the president of the International Real Estate Federation, FIABSHI Arabic countries, for more than 3 years. In this episode, you'll learn the economic impact of real estate, Dubai's 2040 vision, the success of the Dubai Real Estate Institute, and how we can build sustainable cities. Please join me in welcoming to the show Dr. Mahmoud Alburai.
Thank you so much for having me today. And being back at the AUD always is a great pleasure. This
Good
is
memories
my home.
here. Good memories
Exactly.
here. Yeah, I'm sure. So always a pleasure to speak to another alumni like myself. Everyone has their own. We've had lots of different alumni on the podcast actually, and everyone has their own story about AUD. You know, their own journey, what they learned, the network they built, the relationships that they made. So it's always interesting to hear from alumni and see where they are now and the work that they're doing. So I know, Dr. Mahmoud, that you are the president of FIABSHI, and you also sit on the board of International Real Estate Federation. So what I wanted to talk about today is Dubai. I feel, because I grew up here, so this is home for me. I've seen how it's changed over the years. I think Dubai has gone from a place back in the day that people would hear about here and there, you know, when you moved internationally, but now Dubai is not only on the map, it's actually leading the charge in so many different areas. Having Expo here, for example, we have COP coming up as well, which I want to get into. I'm going to get into all those areas as well. But before we get into everything, why don't you give all of us a little bit of background about yourself, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much. And I'm very pleased to be here today. And I don't know from where to start, but AUD for me means a lot, and a little bit of history. I was born in a refugee camp in Palestine in 1983, did my education in Gaza. I was the highest among my peers in high school. I was looking, when I finished my high school there, I could not find a scholarship or any education opportunity. So I remember receiving a call from Elias Bousaib, the vice president of AUD, telling me that His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum heard my story, and he's sponsoring me fully to come here to Dubai, do my bachelor in engineering. And this is how I'm very lucky to be the person that AUD has connected with and supported me with an education opportunity. And this is Dubai. It's the land of opportunities. It's the land of dreams. And if anyone wants to get his dreams achieved and done, come to Dubai. And we say, Habibi, come to Dubai.
Yeah.
And when I joined AUD electrical engineering, I finished. I was the valedictorian of AUD 2006. I gave the graduation speech.
Oh, wow.
And on that day, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed offered me a job in the government of Dubai while I was taking my certificate from him. And with his support, I got to do 4 master degrees and 1 PhD, joined Dubai government, and took it all the way from an employee to be a senior director to a CEO in Dubai Land Department in 2009. And I had a very interesting story that I started to share, that we are in a region that has 20% unemployment rate. Youth are lacking hope. And if there's something we can help them with, it's giving them hope. And that's what we find Dubai doing great in, giving them opportunities to get their hopes and dreams fulfilled. So
Absolutely.
And I'm back actually to AUD as a professor, so I forgot to tell you that. So I teach at AUD as well. So it's so great to be in the same class. You were sitting as a student and all of a sudden you're the instructor and you're lecturing.
Yeah, that's I had no idea, you know, the backstory and coming from Palestine, and we all know the situation, and given the opportunities of education and to be selected by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed to be invited to come study in Dubai. And it seems that you have worked your way across so many different fields of education to establish yourself, and you built yourself from the ground up to the position that you are today. So, huge respect and kudos for that. Interesting when it comes to, so I'm curious, where did the passion for real estate come from? Because when I was doing my research, and he's like, he had so many amazing titles and certifications, both globally and locally, and very real estate focused. So could you tell me, where does the passion for real estate come from, and what is it about this field that attracts you to it so much?
Well, it all started back at AUD.
Okay.
AUD 2000, 2001, when I came here to Dubai, we were surrounded by desert everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. There's just I think Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard Rock Cafe, Oasis Center, Burj Al Arab. I used to see it from my room here at AUD.
Oh, no way. Okay.
And I was witnessing Dubai being built around us in AUD. And exactly, at the same time I was looking at Dubai being built, I was looking at my dreams being built at the same time. So I said, this is a city that's going to develop itself very fast, and real estate is definitely a very important economic sector for any country or any government if they want to grow their economy, if they want to offer job opportunities, if they want to attract tourists, because real estate is your home, it's your office, it's your school, university, hospital. Everything you see in the city is real estate, connected by roads where humans are living there. So this is the definition of cities. So I got interested, but the only thing is that I already have chosen my field to be electrical engineering. So I came here to AD and said, what is the most difficult subject here? Coming highest. They said electrical engineering. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. I finished, I got the highest. But on the day of graduation, Sheikh Mohammed offered me a job opportunity. And I went and met his office in Emirates Towers, and they said, Mahmoud, great, you are an engineer. We love how engineers think. But see, we're giving you a new challenge. This is the direction of His Highness. We want you to be in real estate. And I was looking like, what does real estate have to do with electrical engineering? But then a couple of months later, I was sent to Singapore to do my master's in real estate. 1 year later, I came back to Dubai and I said, this is where I want to be. I want to be part of building cities. And we are in a region that needs a lot of buildings and a lot of job opportunities. And real estate is really a game changer. And this is how Dubai built itself, actually. We built and people came. We are now home to 217 nationalities. If you look at the United Nations system, they have only 197 countries, 197. In Dubai, we have more. And if you ask them what brings you to Dubai, it's a quality of life, it's safety, it's security. And there's so many reasons why people choose Dubai. And that's why I always say now, we have a new concept or a new term, which is the Dubai dream. It's no longer people are interested in American dream. And that's why we see a lot of even Americans and people from Europe and from the Arab region, they choose Dubai. Because this is where you get your dreams amplified and achieved in short time. And this is what Dubai is all about. If you remember, Sheikh Mohammed was asked about 10 years ago, how much you achieved of your vision? And he said 10%. 6 years later, he was asked the same question and he said, well, actually 6%. And the same journalist said, how come it was 10% and now it's 6%? He said, because our dreams get bigger and bigger on a daily basis. And this is how people here. Everyone here has a dream. Everyone here has a family to support. Everyone here has kids that he wants them or to live a better life than he did. I mean, I lived in a refugee camp and I can tell you how difficult such life can be. We didn't even have a life. But now looking at my kids and the standards and the living quality and with peace and security, all these things you cannot quantify with money. So, I don't know if you feel that resonates with what you think.
No, absolutely. It's funny you say the Dubai dream and why Dubai has grown in popularity. So I grew up here. I lived here for 27 years or 25 years. And then I lived in Amsterdam for 3 years. And that was a whole new experience. But what I realized when I was there is, especially now that with the work that I'm doing and building my own business and building a future for not only myself and like my family now, is there was nowhere in the world I wanted to come back to fulfill and build that dream than Dubai. Everything you talked about and when you live in anywhere else but here, you understand. Once you've lived here, you know when you're there, you appreciate not only how much you've had, and you see how much you've lost there, the quality of life. One huge aspect that you touched on was safety. As a parent, you want to raise your kids. There is probably no safer place in the world than Dubai to raise them, in terms of not only the safety, the quality of the education, the quality of the life that you have here. Me and my wife would sit down and talk. We're like, would you ever live somewhere else now? And I'm like, never. I've done it, never again. This is the place. And I think this is one of the big reasons what, kind of like building on what you said, attracts so many people, to Dubai. And it's interesting, you were here in the early days, from the 2000s on is when Dubai really exploded. And you got to, it's funny you saying there was Hard Rock Cafe and Oasis. I remember even when I was a kid here driving around, and that's all we knew, and there was desert everywhere. And there's that famous picture of Dubai in, I think, 1995 and then in 2006. And you would think it's Photoshop, because it's unbelievable what they've accomplished in such a short amount of time. And I know you, coming back to the real estate aspect, and you said you're passionate about building cities, and you've been a part of building Dubai. You've seen it yourself. You've seen how things have changed. You've seen where we are right now. And I know you're the CEO at the Dubai Real Estate Institute for over 10 years. So I'd love to hear about, and you guys, and you've been, involved in graduating over 80,000 professionals, which is an incredible number.
Yeah.
So I'd love to understand from you, I'd love to hear about your time at the Dubai Real Estate Institute. What was, your objectives? And I guess now when you sit back and reflect on the work that you've done, what are the memories, or what are the things that you hold fondly?
Wow, thank you for reminding me of Dubai Real Estate Institute. As any new market with very light regulation in 2001, you always look at the human resources and talents that exist in this market. So back in 2003 and 4, the market was booming, but at the same time, the talent and real estate professionals at that time were not the talents that we have today in terms of education, in terms of ethics, in terms of professionalism. So I was given this mandate in 2008 to work on a strategy for Dubai to make the real estate market more professional, to make sure that everyone who works in real estate industry in Dubai is a licensed person, is qualified. He goes through, or she goes through continuous education, exams, and we have a very rigid system of compliance in that regard. So coming up with the first institute, real estate institute in the region. It was a tough but interesting challenge that we took in Dubai. And within a few years, as you correctly said, and you mentioned the right number, great, 80,000 people, not only in Dubai, but in the whole region. And we started to become a reference in the region. We were called by Saudi, we were called by Bahrain, by Kuwait, by Oman, by different Arab countries to come and educate their people. Why we care about education? In this region, you don't find any university that provides a real estate degree. So a lot of people who are in real estate, it happens that they are real estate. Some people in marketing, they do marketing. Some people in management, in IT, they find themselves in real estate. A lot of people actually, by the way, they came to Dubai and their first job was real estate, and they were engineers, they were other fields. So having an institute that educates them and bridge that gap, teach them the laws, regulation, what can be done, what can't be done. We always say, real estate people in Dubai, you are the ambassadors of the city. You're the first interface with investors, with customers. And we want to make sure that you are educated, you are aware of laws, regulation, but at the same time, you are culturally sensitive. We are a city that has 217 nationalities. You're selling to Indian, to Arabs, to American, to British, to Asian, you name it. So you need to be careful, you need to be sensitive, how to communicate, how to negotiate, how to get them the right deal. So that actually helped Dubai within a few years to be the most transparent real estate market in the region, and now it's one of the top 30 transparent real estate market worldwide because of building professionalism, education, and training in Dubai. And again, this experience has been taken to other countries, and now we see the same idea has been implemented in different GCC countries. So Real Estate Institute, for me, it's a project that I'm very proud of. I see a lot of real estate professionals who come and say, Dr. Mahmoud, we first met you in the institute. You remember when we came with no knowledge of real estate and you told us this is the field? And I always say it. This is the field. This is 15-20% of our GDP in Dubai. This is 10% of the country GDP. This is an important economic sector. If there is any opportunity in such a booming city, it will be definitely number one in real estate and whatever is related as an industry to real estate. So I'm very proud of this institute, and I hope to see more educated people in the other Arab countries. We want to see real estate industries booming in other Arab countries because it's an important tool to take youth, especially Arab youth, from poverty and become more important actors within the economy.
No, absolutely, and I'm sure it's very satisfying, fulfilling to meet all your previous students years later, and for them to say like you were right and thank you, and Dubai is a clear example of the results. And what you talked about, how important real estate is in providing an opportunity to take you out of poverty and to give you opportunity to build a new life, not even personally but as a country. It's something crucial, and real estate's a sector that's not going anywhere, and if anything, where we are today in 2023, it's booming and it's expanding, and you see how and you talked about talent and the different nationalities. Nowadays, the top talent, and not just in real estate, but probably in multiple fields, are now here in Dubai. But again, like you said, now they have a home, it's a quality of like a home, schools, education. And when you said that, it was interesting. I'm like, I've never thought of, in my mind, real estate was like a house or an apartment. But no, you're right. There's schools, there's hospitals, there's all these things, and all of these play into what makes a successful, not only real estate market, but a successful city. Yeah. And you touched on how things have changed, obviously, and we're now in a new phase.
Yeah.
And one thing that you said that was really important, I think, and what's crucial behind everything behind the Real Estate Institute is transparency and trust. And now, like you said, Dubai is listed as one of the 30 most, transparent markets in the world, and that is a big achievement. Because as a potential investor, if I'm looking globally about where am I going to potentially invest my money, I would want a place that is transparent, a place that I can trust, and a place that has educated people that are specialized and professionals in not only in other areas but in real estate itself. I also know you sit on the board for the International Real Estate Federation, and I'm curious because I think Dubai is a very unique real estate market, and by sitting on the board, you've probably had conversations and been exposed to and speaking with the top people in various markets across the world. So I'm curious, what have you learned, I guess, from that experience? Because every market is different, every country has its own agendas, everything. So what have you learned from that experience, speaking to people from all over the world and being involved in this project? In this project.
Yeah, I remember first day in my job in Real Estate Regulatory Agency of Dubai. I was asked by my boss. He said, "I want you to work on a strategy to make Dubai more internationally recognized in real estate market." And that's how we connected with the FIAPSI and Arello and many other international organizations. So we said we don't want to start from zero. We want to start from where others finished. So we went to the United States, to UK, to Australia, to so many international real estate markets, and we started benchmarking what makes them more interesting at that point of time for investors, for institutional investors, what attracts people to cities. And we found out that it's not about buildings, it's about the city. And it's about the infrastructure of the city. It's about the connectivity of the city. It's about the lifestyle. It's about the quality of life. It's about education. It's about health. People moving from a place to place, they always look into different dimensions. Yes, safety is there. Quality of life is important, but also they look at the education system, at the healthcare system. They look at the city as a system rather than as, separate elements. So what we learned from all these international experiences first is that we learned from their mistakes. We went into details of what went wrong in the relationship between investors and tenants, investors and developers, how to make our market more transparent, how to regulate and how to enhance the governance of real estate market. So we brought a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and we reflected that into our laws and regulations. So if you see, most of laws and regulations in Dubai real estate market came after 2007. But we also learned something, is that if you look at all these systems, some of them are too regulated, some of them are loosely regulated. We said, no, we want to be somewhere in between. We don't want to be too regulated that people don't come to us. We don't want to be too loose that we don't protect people. And that's why we've chosen somewhere in between. And this is what actually makes Dubai unique. If you look at our laws and regulations, they're simple, they protect everyone, and they're to the point. And this is the beauty of Dubai. The off-plan system we came up with in Dubai was not known anywhere. How to sell an off-plan, how to register an uqudi, how to have an escrow account, all these were Dubai's DNA and in Dubai's innovation. And that's actually created a lot of trust. The key term of success for Dubai is trust. People saw that there is a system, there is a law, there is a leadership that dreams on a daily basis. Sheikh Mohammed, he always dreams. He wants Dubai better, bigger, peaceful. He wants all the best thing to happen in Dubai. So this has actually helped us to take our market in regulation to the next level, in transparency to the next level. And then we started in Dubai, government doesn't work as a regulator only. We empower the private sector. We work with them closely to make sure that we are all part of the success story. Everyone is part of it. So we partnered with our developers, with the brokers, with property managers. We made them part of the policy making. We made them part of strategy making. So what you see in Dubai's success story today is a story that was written by every single person living here in this country. So every person had a contribution, and we appreciate that. And this is part of the government here appreciates the contribution that came from every single person to make Dubai a unique city. And today, the most famous slogan in COVID time was "Habibi, come to Dubai," right?
Yeah,
and
true.
now I saw recently one person saying, "No, Habibi, don't come to Dubai. We already have enough." A lot of people. The plan of Dubai, Master Plan 2040, and the strategy of Dubai, we want to double our population by 2040. We want to double our green by 2040. We want people to live maximum 600 meters far from public transport. We want a city, as per the 2040, to be the best city on earth for people to live in, to work, to entertain. So we are looking at comprehensive experience of people. We want them to come, enjoy, raise their kids, get their kids' education here in Dubai. A lot of people used to send their kids back home for education. Now, no, we have one of the best education in the region and one of the best globally as well. Health sector and so on. So we're lucky to be in this country, in this city. We're lucky to be inspired. Every day you wake up, you're inspired. Inspired by, you go for a meeting, and in that meeting, you find people from 10 nationalities. You go to another coffee shop, you find people from all. So the spillover impact of ideas and innovation is really remarkable here in Dubai.
Yeah, and you've touched on the multiple nationalities a couple of times, and I think that has also added to the culture of Dubai and what has supported and enabled it to get to where it wants to go. But you've also referenced, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, and in any successful organization, as you know, it all starts from the top. The vision of the leader, the dreams of the leader, and then he puts them into plans and makes this happen. And for the 2040 vision of Dubai, for it to double the population, and I believe in terms of like best city to live, I think we're already there. I think it's been achieved, personally speaking, as a long-time resident here. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But at the same time, you mentioned something when circling back to your experience with the International Real Estate Federation, is that you guys, you looked at different markets, you went to those markets, you got a taste of what those markets are like, you saw the mistakes that were made, and I think you made a very interesting point and a very important point, that for it to be successful, it had to be somewhere in the middle. Regulation is incredibly important because yes, you need to protect the tenants and the landowners and so on, but also you need to make it inviting for people, to make it easy for people to want to invest and, you know, to want to come here. So a little backstory, one of my first clients for my business, she's been in real estate here for 35 years. And we launched her podcast, so shout out to her. And as a result of that, I had the privilege of going along and sitting in on her conversations with, you know, for example, His Excellency Marwan bin Ghleita, CEO of RIRA, you know, Ustaz Khalifa Al-Suwaidi, CEO of Eris, and, you know, Ustaz Ali Abdullah Ali, you know, the head of the licensing department. So I've had the privilege of sitting in on all those different conversations and learning and seeing even from their perspective, their plans and their visions. For example, Eris was a very interesting one on how we're making it easy, for example, for an investor abroad to sign, you know, to sign a document. And all those interactions and all the lessons I learned from them have showed that Dubai is constantly looking to improve, looking to make it better. And even they talk about how real estate has changed so much. And they say, we just started. There's a lot more that we're looking to do. And there's a lot more that we're, you know, excited to do. And we talk, as I mentioned earlier, I think growing up, Dubai was building itself. Dubai was famous for the Burj Al Arab. Dubai was famous for, you know, the Palm, these mega projects that no one had dreamed of. And that's what put Dubai on the map. But now Dubai is actually, I believe, leading the charge in so many areas. Real estate is one of them, but also now we have COP28 coming up, sustainability. So there's so many different areas. So I'd love to hear from your perspective. I know there's the 2040 vision that we're aiming for, but what is the reason you believe that now Dubai has become one of the global leaders in the world?
In sustainability, right? In general? In general. Yeah. Okay, if you talk about general, definitely leadership comes number one. You have a leadership, you know the direction, you know the destination, you know the destiny, and you take people with you in a journey. You make them part of it. And Sheikh Mohammed always says, I want leaders, but their followers, I want them also to be leaders. So leaders and leaders, we're looking always at people who are leaders. We always look at number one. Sheikh Mohammed doesn't believe in number two.
Absolutely.
If you go and tell him, we want to be the second best, no, it doesn't work. It has to be number one.
Yeah.
And this culture of number one and competition and competitiveness is very crucial and very integrated in the DNA of Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. So, and this journey is a moving and it is a dynamic goal. It's not like we achieved, no. Sheikh Mohammed and the leadership here does not believe in we're the best, no. We want always to be the best, and we always compete with perfection. We don't compete with countries and cities. We always want to compete with the perfection. When it comes to sustainability, and that's very interesting, UAE is one of the top producers of oils worldwide, and always oil has been looked at as a polluter and against sustainability. But the UAE is taking at the global level a movement towards sustainability, and we've seen the efforts of the United Arab Emirates and the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. We've seen building Expo itself. Expo itself is the most sustainable site on earth in terms of urban planning, in terms of buildings, and this is the home for COP28 now. We're now leading international discussions to make the whole globe more sustainable. In Dubai, we've taken different action. There was a circular economy strategy that was announced by Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed, the Crown Prince of Dubai. We are in a process of banning plastic and paying for plastic. And we're seeing a lot of initiative now in waste segregation and how to take waste and make this waste more commercially valuable to the city. So we have a UAE SDGs Council, we have a Ministry of Climate Change, we have action, we have stakeholders in the UAE. The private sector is very influential and is pushing the sustainability agenda, because we always think for the generations to come, we want them to live a better life than the life we're living. We want them to live a more sustainable life. Climate change is happening, and that's why the master plan of Dubai 2040, if you go there, it's about doubling the green area. It's about the 20-minute city where everything has to be approached, bikeable, walkable within 20 minutes from your home. So all these efforts are to make reliance on cars less. It's not about electric cars. It's about building a city where you need less of cars, how to build a city where the private sector. Now we have even kids in school, they're taught about sustainability. Your kids come to school, to home and say, we should not switch this light on, we should switch it off, we should have waste separated and so on. So we have now a movement in the UAE towards sustainability. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the president of the country, is leading these efforts, has been meeting with a lot of government officials, sending them. We want to make COP28 the most successful COP among all the previous COPs. So the UAE tries to integrate sustainability, resilience, and digital transformation. And this is the formula for success. And this is the formula for competitiveness. Build a sustainable future, a resilient future. And that's why we always welcome crisis. Sheikh Mohammed always say, I don't believe in crisis. This is a challenge, and this makes us stronger. In COVID, all countries closed down, closed their economy. We were open. And we've seen the impact. People are moving to Dubai. So how we master the art of resilience and how we master the art of dealing with the crisis, this is a very important success factor in Dubai government and in the UAE as well.
Yeah. And from everything you said, all the initiatives that not only Dubai but the UAE is taking to build a better future, you mentioned, digital transformation, sustainability, and so on. Dubai or the UAE is clearly leading by example. And I think that is one of the reasons that it's become such an attractive place, because they not only are plans created, they're actually being implemented and to the highest level, which is the reason why everyone wants to come here, which is the reason why there's you mentioned, the Dubai dream. I believe that is actually something real. That's something that exists. That term maybe was never there, but as Dubai has built itself over the last, 30, 40 years, that has become a reality, and it's something that's real and something that people actually get excited about and want to come here and want to do for that. And I think having stuff like, the Expo last year or a few years ago and COP, having such significant global events also is is proof that not only are we doing the right job, everyone else can see that we're doing the right job, and that's why they're agreeing, or they want to have such global, events, in the UAE. I know there's also, you're a member of the, we talked about sustainability a little bit, but there's tell us about the SDG Academy and its mission, because that's something that I wasn't familiar with, and I think it really fits into this area of sustainability and helping to educate people to build that sustainable future. Because one of the areas that if we don't know, if us as a community, we're not educated on the importance of it and how we can contribute, then there's going to be a block for us to achieve that goal.
Well, I was part in 2015 of the international team who worked on SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, that were passed on in September 2015. I was mainly in SDG number 11. SDG number 11 is about how to make cities sustainable, affordable, resilient, and safe. And this is exactly what we're doing here. So at that time, when we looked at sustainability, we said we have 17 SDGs. We want to end poverty, hunger. We want to improve education, health. We want women empowerment, all the way to 17, which is partnership. We found that to achieve these SDGs by 2030, we need to invest in education. As again, any new system you implemented, you need to educate people. You want to make sure that private sector is educated. Government is also educated. They know what's sustainability, how to integrate it into government policies, laws, regulations. And this is why I came up with this SDG Academy in the Middle East and work with different partners. And we train thousands of people on sustainability in the future of cities and how to make the private sector more involved. We also came up with sustainability ambassadors. We want ambassadors in every single private sector company here in the country to make sure that they lead sustainability movement. So academy, education, and good that we're today in AUD. Actually, I take a lot of these sustainability. Every single course I teach at AUD, I touch on sustainability. Even if I teach accounting, I will still teach them the sustainability, the impact on accounting, and impact on marketing, and impact on branding, and so on. So sustainability and resilience are very important key concepts. And we worked actually at AUD with Dubai Police on starting a program in resilience and chief resilience officer training. So training is important, capacity building is important, but at the same time, partnership between public-private entities are important, and this is the success. It's an important factor to make sure SDGs implementation is successful. If you look now, SDGs were past 2015, and today we're talking about 8 years. And we're still way behind globally. And part of it because people are not aware. You still have people asking you, what is SDG? What is sustainability? What is in it for me? A lot of people also are suspicious. Actually, climate change is not real. This is a myth. This is not happening. But nowadays, everyone is seeing it, right?
Yeah, you can feel it no matter where you are. Yeah.
So I'm glad that I started all these initiatives. And I'm glad that I got all support from AUD, from Dubai government, from UAE, from even the Arab region. I started also working on the refugees domain and went and visited a couple of refugee camps and started looking at talented refugees. Because again, sustainability is not about the environment. It's about social sustainability. It's about economic sustainability. It's about the environment. So you cannot focus too much on environment and leave people without jobs, without homes, without. No, we want to make sure that people are and communities are socially sustainable, economically sustainable. We have job opportunities, and at the same time, we care about the environment, and we're not polluting our environment, and reducing use of resources, reusing, and so on.
Yeah, and I think a very, very important point you said there is that I think a lot of us see sustainability. We think sustainability, we're thinking about green, we're thinking about environment, but sustainability encompasses a much wider range, and there's so many factors that need to be in place for not only for a city and a country to be sustainable and to build the future just like Dubai has built all these years. Dr. Mahmoud, I have 2 more questions for you. So first of all, looking back at your career, I know you've been part of and successfully led multiple initiatives with SDG, with being on the board of the Real Estate Federation, the Real Estate Institute, and so on. Is there an initiative that you still have in your mind that's that dream initiative that you're still looking to accomplish, or what's next for that?
Well, there's so many initiatives, but one initiative that I'm really spending a lot of time on is the work that I started on refugees. So I'm doing a documentary on refugees. It's called Camps awesome. And Dreams.
Oh, that's amazing.
We started in COVID, but we're still working on it. And the idea is not a documentary, but to set up an NGO for refugees. And it's not about refugees. Usually when we talk about refugees, we talk about the dark part. We always talk about refugees as burden to countries. No, we're looking at refugees, the talents, the resources that exist within refugees. So I visited Zaatari camp in Syria, in Jordan, and I've seen the successful entrepreneurs and innovative refugees and their ideas. I've seen doctors, artists, and so on. So with the innovation in technology and communication, if we give such intelligent people an opportunity to be part of feeding their families, but also being part of the economy. So this is something I'm working on now, and I want to spend more time on. I'm almost 40 in a month's time or so. So I feel I've done a lot. Yeah, thank you. I've done a lot in government. I work in government. I did my own NGO, the private sector, academia, and so on. But it's time now to focus on more meaningful thing, because wherever you reach, you don't forget where you started. I know my start. I know without the hope that Sheikh Mohammed gave me an AUD, I maybe have been a different person.
Yeah.
And this hope is something that maybe not everyone appreciates, but really it means a lot when you give someone an opportunity. You're not giving them charity. I don't believe in charity for the sake of charity. I don't believe in CSR to be charity. No. To be more, look at not giving me the fish, but teach me how to fish. And this is the approach that I want to take forward. I want to continue to be in education. So I teach at AUD, I teach at Mahmoud Barashid School of Government, where we teach government officials. I'm part of Dubai government, and I want to continue to be there. But I want to have, as Dubai has taught us, we always need to be international in thinking, international implementation. The success story we made here in Dubai, we want to take to this region, the Arab region. We don't forget that we are Arabs, and we have so many challenges in this region, and we want to be part of solution.
Yeah, that's a beautiful dream, and I love what you said, that you never forget, where you started, and I can tell just even the way you see it on your face, the smile that you get when you talk about this project and how close it is, to you. And like you said, I love what you said about, I don't believe in just giving charity for the sake of charity, because I could, like you said, teach a man to fish. I could, instead of give you the fish, let me teach you how, because that then gives you an opportunity to not just get a fish, maybe get like another 100. So I really, really admire and appreciate that, and I can tell it's something that means a lot to you. So I wish you all the best, with that project, and I have, given your background and all the, the breadth of knowledge that you've built over the last few years across so many different industries, I have no doubt that, that will come to fruition. And for my last question, Dr. Mahmoud, so the aim of this podcast is to show that success comes in many forms and that learning never stops. I think, a lot of times growing up, we think like this, there's only one path to success, but what we hope to do and what we aim to do with this podcast is to show people that everyone on the show has been successful in their own way. They have their own story, their own journey, so there isn't one right path. And also, one key aspect that everyone that we've had on the podcast shares is that learning never stops. So reflecting back on your career or your life, I know it's a difficult question to answer, I'm sure you've learned a lot, but if there's one thing, one piece of advice or learning that you've taken that you would like to share with us, what would that be?
The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And this is something really I've seen. And that's why I still remember Sheikh Mohammed, when he saw me, when I was in his palace 2006, he told me, continue your education and never stop. And every time I see him, he asks me, what did I finish? How many masters, how many PhDs? So that's the formal education, but also the on-site training, the being also aware of what's going on around you. I mean, you should be now politically, economically, socially, environmentally knowledgeable. You need to look at all these, because nowadays we take decisions in a complex world. We call it the VUCA world. VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. So many things. So to take a decision, it cannot be purely economic decision. You always need to integrate the many other factors. So education, learning, listening. Now we have digital tools and digital infrastructure. Podcast is a way of learning. I mean, it doesn't have to be coming to do a master degree or a PhD, although I prefer formal education, because we, especially in my generation,
sure.
If you give them something and there's a grade and exam, they will learn. If you give them freedom, they may not. But I think learning, listening, utilizing all the infrastructure we have and the digital infrastructure in the country and the city are important to grow. But also, I have an advice to myself before I give it to others, that a lot of colleagues have been successful in their jobs. But I think we also need to be more creative and come up with our own businesses. Because I think being a great staff in a certain company, that's great, but also having your own company where you can get your dream fulfilled, you can hire people to be part of your dream. So that also creates more job opportunities and help the economy. So I think we need new generations of entrepreneurs rather than employees. I think this is a challenge in this region, and we need this challenge to be really figured out.
In a place like Dubai, I don't think there will ever be a shortage of entrepreneurs here. I just see it growing over the coming few years. And you clearly, echo everything that we stand for on this podcast, when it comes to learning. And I actually spoke to someone recently on my podcast, and he was telling me that there was a statistic by 2050 that 50% of the, or 2027, 50% of the US population, just as an example, are going to be freelancers. A freelancer that's your first step to becoming an entrepreneur. And I think the whole world and Dubai especially is really moving into that direction. And I'm really excited to be a part of it and to see what's coming over, the next few years. Dr. Mahmoud, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been an absolute pleasure. I've really learned so much from you on so many different areas. I think anyone listening who's lived in Dubai, who wants to come to Dubai, who wants to study here at AUD, I think you've been an amazing ambassador for all of us. So just want to say thank you for your time and for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And again, thank you for such great questions.
I appreciate it.
And I'm sure that we always learn from audience. Hopefully we get them to be, more involved with AUD as students or even as other hats. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the AUD podcast channel. We really hope that you enjoyed it and learned something from it. We have a lot of incredible guests lined up for you on the show, and we're so excited to bring you their inspiring stories. To stay up to date with all the latest episode releases, please make sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe to the podcast on the AUD Instagram page at AUD Dubai.